And we're live. Hello, everybody. I'm Eddie from Valid Blocks, and we're presenting you today with the first edition of Elrond Talks. What is Elrond Talks? Elrond Talks wants to be an open format that all the staking providers can utilize to have episodes just like this to present themselves to the community. And we want to have these talks with the other staking providers and also with the community members that are interested in having this. Just casual conversations where we prove that we're not Autobots trying to take over the world, and we're just normal people, and we're here for the good of Elrond. So today I'm really excited to have Kevin from Helios taking with me. So without further ado, let's welcome him to the conversation. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing out there today? Good, I hope. Thanks for having me, Eddie, for the first installment of Elrond Talks. It's really happy that we're doing this, an open format that anyone can use from here on out, I think. And we just want to get the conversation going and get people educated. And we're both really happy to be the pioneers of doing this. So thanks a lot for that. And yeah, let's do this. Let's get it.
Okay, that's great. Right. So I'd like to start with the title of this first installment. It's called "From Genesis to Infinity and Beyond," and I've known Kevin since early 2019, the first testnet releases. I know he's been on board ever since. So I would like to ask him to maybe describe how was his journey through Elrond from 2019 to the current date.
Okay, well, how was my journey through Elrond? Well, nothing but amazing is probably the first thing I have to say. It's been such an incredible journey. I found Elrond after spending 2 years from 2017, 18, even the parts of 19, looking for good projects and looking for something that I knew that I could maybe contribute in some way or at least have knowledge in. Um, and because of this, I found Elrond and found out that what they were doing was something that no one else was doing, and it was from the ground up. And so it really excited me. Um, I started looking into the Telegram group, and I saw it was really active, a lot of really helpful people. And so I got involved, and I think it was the third release maybe is when I got involved and started with the first battle of nodes, which I did quite well in, just as myself. And then after that, I got a nice little message from one of the team members asking me if I'd be interested in moving forward with a potential staking agency. I jumped all over that, and then come the second battle of the nodes. I was more of a leader at that point, and it was just really great to be in that position and watch all these new people come in, and people still to this day coming in. Um, and just the energy of the team, the energy of the validator community, the helpfulness, the willing to improve, the humility sometimes when you've made a mistake is there. People really have taken Elrond on board, and you can just feel it in the community at all times. So um, creating Helios staking with my partner Mark and another partner Michael was kind of just a no-brainer for us, and we're able to give back to the community now and provide that infrastructure and ability for everyone in the Elrond community to stake their eGold and become part of this revolutionary financial system and blockchain. Um, so yeah, it's been nothing short of amazing, and I get excited almost daily on stuff that's going on, so we're still here and we're not going anywhere, and yeah, it's amazing. So what about you, Eddie?
Thanks, Kevin. That's great. Well, uh, I've known the guys in the Elrond team for quite a while, and even before they started Elrond. And I'm fortunate enough to live in the same city as them. And I knew about the project. I read the first white paper back in 2017. And I remember seeing Benjamin and Lucian at a conference together with the Zilliqa guys discussing uh, ways to approach the sharding method, right? Because everybody was trying to tackle the scalability problem of Ethereum. So um, it was really interesting to see the guys around the Zilliqa guys, doc sharding options. That was back in 2018. I'm sorry, and see the project the way it went with the the first wave of developments that didn't really go well, and then they rebuilt everything from scratch, and then again, and seeing the pace that the project used, the team was just amazing for me. So also with some background in Cosmos validation, I discussed with Lucian back in 2019 and decided to help with a community of validators. And just like you said, people came along. And the one thing I could probably pinpoint and say I love most about Elrond is that it helped all the little guys, people that came in with their baggage of knowledge, and there were different people with different backgrounds, and it brought everybody together and it lifted everybody up to the same level, right? Um, Not only on the technical level, but also as a community, and it was like a family. Even in the battle of nodes, when it was supposed to be an adversary network, people were helping each other. So um, I remember that, like you said, the first releases of Elrond were a bit tricky to install, and then the scripts came along, and then people that were learning how to do these things were helping others as well. So the community really grew as a family. So I have personally grown a lot with the Elrond Network in these last 3 years, and I have learned a lot about blockchain. I mean, I used to know blockchain, right? But not on the deep level technically as I have after being with the Elrond community for so long. And when the mainnet came, it was just a natural step to apply this technical knowledge and blockchain knowledge, and together with my good friend Adi, who is a Linux guru, just set up valid blocks because we wanted all our blocks to be valid, and it seemed like a cool name, and that's how we did. Back to you, Kevin.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realize hold on, I think Mario just okay there. Sorry. So yeah, I didn't realize that that you've actually been around since even 2018 and that sort of stuff. So you're kind of an old man in terms of Elrond, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think
Um,
I'm an old man, period.
that's funny. Well, at least your hair's not going so gray. Um, but yeah, so look, how do you think phase three went for you and Valid Blocks?
Phase three was a really challenging point because we ever since we started on mainnet with our nodes, it was pretty easy to run the project because just a few nodes, and the updates are really streamlined with Elrond. It's the scripts, the tooling is really awesome, and I've had this feedback from, renowned uh, proof of stake people in the community like Sunny from Cosmos. So they all praise the Elrond tooling and the ease of use. And we are getting ready for phase three, but maybe not building the community that we have right now. So in the beginning of this year, we decided to step up and move to a major league and say we're not going to be a company that has a website done, in a weekend. We're going to invest in our identity. We're going to invest in our infrastructure, in our image, and we're going to present ourselves as a valid option for people to stake their eGold. So with this in mind, and with the fact that it's done through a smart contract, and the non-custodial part is really the interesting part here, where we do not have access to people's money. We just help them earn the rewards, and we charge a fee for it. So we started working with a really cool company in Romania called Grafino. So they helped us rebuild the image first and then rebuild the website. So we launched pretty late, like March 13th, a new website, and we started building our Telegram community. We started answering questions, and um, it kind of woke up this passion in me of helping educate people. Like all the people in our community can really say all the questions have been answered in the Telegram, and I try to go beyond the questions and try to explain and try to help people understand why a plus b equals c. Just not just give the answer and be done with it. Try to help people understand why. And I think that is what's missing from the crypto scene, because lots of people are in for the short gains, right? Get rich overnight thing. But once you understand blockchain and the beauty of it, right? The immutability of blockchain, you cannot help fall in love with it. I think at least that's how it was for me. So after that, the rush on the March 26th, right? With everybody API down, everybody hitting F5 to refresh because the wallet was also updated. So the wallets were not working well. So the first 2 hours, I think I lost 3 kilos that day with all the stress. But
Yeah.
the delegation started coming in, and we really appreciate that. And we'd like to thank our community for pulling through for us. We did explain that it was really important to be there on time, to be there, to show up. Was it 2:23 UTC? So people did show up, and we had to cap our delegation at. I think it was 2 hours into it, but rather than that, everything was great, and I can only say that the Elrond team again delivered big time, because having a rolling update like this from 2,169 validators to 3,200, it's a big thing. It's really huge. And phase 3 is a really immense milestone for the Elrond project. So Valid Blocks as a staking provider is here to stay and is here to help all the investors make the most of their EGLD. How about you, Kevin? How did you live it?
Well, you said a lot there in a lot of what I'd say, but for us, I guess we got kind of lucky because in the first round of Battle of the Nodes, I was running. I think I ended up running 26 nodes at some point, so I was already pretty used to running a lot of nodes. So the whole infrastructure thing wasn't that big of an issue for us. I was more kind of torn between how we wanted to actually strategize and how we actually wanted to do our growth. So I kind of sat back and with Mark and Michael, and we said, okay, what is it we want to do here? And we looked at it from community first and from a decentralized approach, and always keeping that in mind in the back of our minds and making sure that we achieve that. I was getting messages, almost 2, 3, 4 weeks before launch, people asking why we don't have an open Telegram group and all that sort of stuff. And we actually kind of made a point of it of waiting till the last few days to open it, strictly because we wanted to make sure that Helios was one of the first announced partners, one of the first 4 or 5, and I kind of wanted to not go in and mop up 250K eGold right away, which is our max cap. And so I was kind of happy with moving a bit slower. In hindsight, a lot of our guys were Myar wallet users, and they weren't really quickly to respond to the timeline. So a lot of our nodes didn't show up. A lot of our coins didn't start coming in till about an hour and a half into it, which was kind of disappointing in a way, but when I look back on it, I'm really happy that it happened that way, because now it gives us a nice big cushion for sustainability for our users. It allows our users to redelegate in. We have a lot of space to get to that 250, and we can actually grow now sustainably and slowly together as a community. And I've got to know a lot of my community members from a one-to-one basis, answering all their questions, helping them. And I got to give a big shout out to all of them. And I'm really happy that I was able to, and Mark was able to do more of a one-on-one one-on-one thing with people and actually get to know people a bit more. I don't think there's anything wrong with bigger communities either. I'm not trying to say, the flip side is bad. I think just for our strategy, it kind of just went perfect. We're growing nice at a nice pace. We release a bit of eGold every day. We have redelegation open now, and we got tons of room to play with. So I'm happy for that. In terms of phase three itself, yeah, like well, what a day that was. You lost 3 kilos, and I went totally gray. I might have once had color in my hair, but after phase three, definitely not. We had to cap two. I initially was gonna I changed the cap twice on the fly, but I always had faith in the team, and I always knew that the Elrond network and the team would see this demand, which is absolutely amazing, by the way. Every single person out there who's staked with, no matter who they staked, I want to say personally thank you for choosing Elrond and getting us to that 11 million stake now. I think was the last number I saw. That was yesterday. Like that's absolutely incredible, guys, and we got more room to go. But I knew that over those three-day period, we had some calls. We had the validators group was just constant. What are we going to do? Do this, do that, do that. Everyone's kind of like getting really frustrated, and it was a tough time. Like Sunday night, Monday night, we're on these long calls, but we had to be, and the team came with a solution that worked for everybody, and they they were honest about it. They didn't say, well, we knew that was going to happen. They said, well, oops. It wasn't necessarily an oops, but it was kind of like, look, we admit, maybe, but like that's the important thing about Elrond, and that's why everyone is drawn to it, is that it's all transparent. There's humility there, and it's okay to admit when something has maybe been unforeseen. But like at the end of the day, all that coin that we got and the demand exceeded what we ever thought it was going to be. So, that's a massive win for all of us. And now, yeah, like
Right.
that pain that pain is gone now. So we're now into the future. So what's in the future for Valid Blocks?
Uh, Good question. Before I answer that, I would like to also touch on this that you mentioned. The team at Elrond were under a lot of stress. I mean, I know that weekend was very long for all the team members, and I was amazed with how the solution came together. Again, they delivered beyond and what I expected, right? So I honestly think it was the best solution, and it helped the ecosystem a lot. So um, next step for Valid Blocks, we're working on some tooling, and we are working to integrate some big businesses with Elrond. We have some contacts in Spain, some big retailers that we want to take to enroll with the Elrond network, because cheap transactions, fast finality, um, top of the line network, uh, scalability. We had 263,000 PPS in the Battle of Nodes at the end. I think that was it, right?
Yeah,
263.
before
Yeah,
yeah, we got really really high at one point, and
yeah,
I think it lasted for all of 15 to 30 minutes. I think it was 100,000 and something, I think, is what we actually got to. I can't remember. It was even
unbelievable.
it was crazy fast. But then like
Right.
yeah, like we didn't have enough nodes. We didn't like whatever, but it was good to know that we could do that. So
Yeah, yeah. The adaptivity part of adaptive state sharding is really great. The fact that the network can shrink or grow depending on the demand, and the hybrid economic model that Elrond is using which is not based on TPS or inflation. It's a combination of these two. So if enough TPS, there's no need for inflation. This is just groundbreaking, I think. And
Absolutely.
I really think in the end there will not be only one project. There will be, but also there will not be 8,000 projects that exist right now. So I think there will be a handful of solid teams that have worked constantly and have delivered. And Elrond team is, if not the hardest working team out there, which I personally think it is, it's one of the hardest working teams, and the pace is just mind blowing. So,
Well, they're
uh,
not only they're not only the hardest working team. They have what's at heart best interest for the community. The like I can just see it in them that they're doing stuff to actually make a difference in the world and actually bring financial inclusion and actually change the way that the financial world and inclusion works. And like that's just to me the tech is number one in my opinion. They're the hardest working team, but at the center of all of that, their foundation and the actual reasoning behind it all is more solid than any of that. They want to be able to help people enter into a system where they can earn money back by just having coins, or they can interact easily and not have to go through all these third party banks or all this sort of stuff. And that that to me is the strongest point. And you have our community out there, I think, know this. We have all these different Twitter accounts popping up every day. You have the eGold hold, you have the warriors, the partners, um Elrond US, like eGold Life. Like there's and they're showing up. They're showing up more and more every day. There's Dr. Elrond. They're all out there, and
that's right.
they're out there for this reason, and it's incredible.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the one point that is giving the edge for Elrond is the vision, and having a team like that can actually build rockets, and also having the vision to see what's coming and actually build it. I think it's a great advantage. And I will also like to touch on what's coming for the Elrond network. Right, we have the Mire exchange and the Launchpad. These are two huge projects that are launching very very soon, and they will bring a lot of value to the whole ecosystem. But I think the project that I'm most excited about is the ESDT, which is,
Well, ESDT is going to
yeah,
change everything. Like so, we've gone this far and we've built the foundations, and building foundations is has always been my personal motto. And to see Elrond making sure that they can walk before they can run is why this next when ESDT comes out, DeFi, the launch pad, when all that comes out, we already know everything else is rock solid because we spent the time and together making sure that that stuff was already working the way it's supposed to before we started adding other things in. There's too many projects out there that just start throwing things in when there's still problems with the other stuff. And
that's right.
that's like it's the wrong way to do things in my opinion. So absolutely, with ESDT coming, you know who's going to create their own coin first, who's going to get all those cool names first. It's awesome. i
Actually,
can't i can't wait to watch the chain.
I've seen a guy, I think with no haze. He was building for straight out 7 hours straight. He was building a coin, trying the ESDT platform. So people are starting to come on board, and I think after the 29th, or 28th is it, when these are activated, we will see real projects take over the Elrond network, and we will see adoption and
Well, how many
everything.
sleeper projects do you think are there? Right? Like there's
Oh
probably a
yeah,
lot of projects that are just waiting. They already have a lot of their
I
stuff
know.
ready.
I know some that
So
are already. So, of
exactly.
course, I don't know all of them, but I really think what Elrond is doing is growing exponentially, I mean, we go step by step by step, and then the growth is not linear, it's exponential. And then when you get to a certain level, uh, and here I'm not talking about the price of the eGold, right? I'm talking about the development around the Elrond network. Once you reach a level where you think, oh, we've reached a nice platform, right? No. From there, they they, they take the next milestone exponentially and
Yeah.
up the game again and again and again. And this is just fantastic for me. Um,
Yeah, right when you think there's nothing else they can do, that plateau just goes
yeah,
boom, they
yeah,
bust right through, you know?
right.
It's just like there you go, and like it's just surprises you every turn of every turn. You might think there's nothing going on, and then all of a sudden you'll see. Well, now I don't, but in the beginning I was like, "Hey, what's next? What's next?" And you're always on the edge of your seat. Now, I mean, I already had 90% confidence. Now I have 110% confidence
That's
that
right.
whatever happens is going to just bring us to that next level, and it's just amazing to be a part of. So do we I mean, every single person out there who holds eGold today, you should be really proud of being part of this community. And if you're out there telling people about it and doing all that stuff, thank you so much. Like, just we're all one. We're all the one ring, I guess you could call it. So
That's right. And just to recap the Elrond, right, network, what does it mean being an e-gold holder? It means you're having a really strong asset to hold, right? Which is very scarce, right? I think we're past 63% in staking right now, past 11 point something million. And the fact that you can compound the rewards, again, this is not a bank. This is not interest. It's rewards that you get for securing the network. And the fact that you can compound that and increase your returns is just fantastic. And with the projects that come with it, like Mex, like MPAD, and the future ones, I mean, it's really a place you want to be in right now. And just take back your time, as the Maillard commercial said.
yeah, exactly. Will we open up to some questions?
Before we do that, I would like to ask you, Mark, first to share some
It's
personal
Kevin.
detail about you. Sorry,
Kevin.
Kevin. Why do I keep
It's
calling you
okay.
Mark?
It's because Mark Daly's my business partner, and we've been
Or
chatting as well, but
maybe
it's
maybe
okay.
I'll call him Kevin, so
Sure, we'll
compensate.
s- we'll swap names from now on.
Right. So Kevin, tell us
Yeah,
something personal about you. What do you like to do? Something to get to know you
personal.
better.
Hmm, personal. Hey, okay. Well, I guess a few things come to mind. One thing a lot of people don't know about me is I lived in 4 different countries. I was fortunate enough to be able to go down to the U.S. to play soccer for college. So I lived there.
Okay.
Canada is where I was born. To Irish immigrants who had moved to Canada, they were actually they moved there in the 70s and then had me in the 80s or something like that. And then in the late 2000s or 2010 maybe, I don't know, I moved to Ireland, took up my citizenship, and lived there for about 6 years. Started a digital infrastructure business there for web development, hosting companies' websites. And then after that, only about a year ago, I moved to the Netherlands and set up Helios staking here. I have one of my best friends lives here. My cousin lives here and stuff. So yeah, that's four countries now. And what do I like to do? I like water sports. I surf. Well, I pretend to surf. I'm learning. I'm learning how to kite surf at the moment,
Wow,
which is extremely hard, but really really fun and crazy and exhilarating. And yeah, I just listen to music and like to cook. That's
that's
that's pretty
awesome.
well me. Yeah. What about you?
Quite a nice description. Well,
Yeah.
I come from a programming background. I started at the age of 19 working for an offshore company in Romania, and then I've worked for a hardware and communication company for a couple of years, and then I moved to a labeling company, which then started doing business with RFID products. And RFID is one of my other passions, right? And then when I learned about blockchain, it just fit perfectly, RFID and blockchain, because being able to tag things on RFID and uh, secure that data on the blockchain is just fantastic. And on a personal level, I like to sing, I like to play the guitar, the drums, the bass. Probably see something behind me.
Yeah.
Um,
You'll have to sing. You'll have to make an Elrond song now. Elrond sings. That's your
Ye-
next. That's the next step.
it's a challenge, but after seeing the French guy do the rap, I'm not sure if
Yeah.
I can raise to that level. But
Fair enough.
maybe the 100th installment of Elrond Talks, after 98 more episodes, we'll be back in a different format, and maybe you can play the ukulele, right?
Yeah, I do
And I
have a
can play the
ukulele.
guitar,
Yeah.
and we can play a song for the audience. So I
Why
think
not?
we can take some questions now. I'll take the first one from Adam Saunders. How can we as a community help? That is a fabulous question. And I think what we as a community can do, and by we, I mean myself as well, because I'm also just a member of the community, we can educate the people around us. And by educate, I don't mean, hey, buy some eGold. I mean, hey, look at this project. Look at what they've done. Look at what blockchain is. Look at what a private public key is. Look at how easy it is to create a wallet, and educate them on creating their first Maya wallet. Maybe help them with 0.001 eGLD, just to get the touch on blockchain, on the first interaction with blockchain. And I think it's very, very important when you educate somebody about blockchain to explain the importance of keeping their seed phrase safe. Because many times I've seen people come to me and say, okay, so here's my Maya address, and send me some eGold, and I ask, did you back up your seed phrase? And they go, well, what's that? So people want to interact with this, but the proper way is to really help them know that this is a secure system, and you have to be the manager of your own keys. So you have to make sure your keys are safe, and you have to know that you cannot share that seed phrase with anybody, regardless if it's Benjamin Minku asking you in a chat, or I've seen people share their keys on sites when admins of Elrond community or whatever. All these fake accounts and scammers are trying to get their hands on your precious eagle. So it is
Yeah, and
very important.
what you're touching on there is basically education.
Yeah,
So the community, as a community member, you should be out there educating, making sure people know things like the seed phrase. I think the first thing you should ever teach anybody is the seed phrase stuff, and then test them. Even
that's
though they
right.
get tested,
Test
even
them.
though they get tested, you should test them as well. But I think as community members, go out there, set up a Twitter account if you don't have one, and start engaging. Start engaging on Telegram, and just start educating people. Have that conversation at a dinner table, or talk to people. Jose from Palm Tree Network has a ton of really good stuff out there to help you teach people about Maiar. Like he's really championing that education piece and trying to help community members. So yeah, I think as community members, just thump that Elrond drum and talk to people about it, and help. Make a video. Elrond
That's
Talks
right.
is going to be open for anybody to take part in. So just start talking more, and giving people the knowledge. No question is a bad question. If you don't know the answer to something, that's okay, because we were all there at some point. And like as we were saying earlier, the whole thing about Elrond is it's no person left behind. And I went when I came in, I was feverishly messaging Alvin. He is a validator and a really strong educator. I was like, what do I do here? What do I do here? And coming from more of a I'm not really from a Linux background with hosting, so it was more Microsoft hosting and CentOS, few random things, and so Linux to me I was just kind of had to brush up on, and I got help from the communities, and just when you see someone who needs help, help them. Like that's the easiest thing you can do.
That's great. That's great. And just to enforce that interaction in the social media, right? If you don't have a
Mm.
Twitter account, make one. And when you see Elrond tweets, interact with them. Maybe a like, maybe a share, a retweet, whatever. This might not seem much from one person, but if the whole community engages with this, then we help spread out the word about Elrond, and people really get a chance to participate on this. And we're not selling anything. This is not trying to get people in the Ponzi scheme, right? We're just
Yep.
trying to help people jump in this ship as soon as possible because we really think Elrond is part of the future. So um, helping them actually.
Plant your seeds and watch them grow.
That's right.
Just and plant as many seeds as you can. We move on to the next question.
Sure. What happens if 17.5 million is staked? Can you take that one?
What happens if 17.5 million is staked? Well, if 17.5 million is staked, that'd be amazing, but not really likely. Um, uh, the thing the way people's minds work and psychologies work of an economy, you're never going to see every single coin staked. It's just not going to happen. Um, what would happen if every coin was staked? I guess there'd be no buy or sell orders anywhere, so the price would just stay as it is, and yeah, that would be weird. But like I just
I don't.
that's a
Very unlikely.
very unlikely situation. I mean, if you have the Elrond delegation bot set up, you'll see that people are leaving the contracts, and you see free eGold coming up from people leaving their delegation contracts already. Like people are in it to support the network, but there's also people in it for money.
That's
And
right.
you can't change greed, you can't change the way the markets move. So I think there's only, I think 80%. I think the one of the biggest chains has 80% locked up. Is that Cosmos? I think I want
Yeah.
to say they've reached
Cosmos has
80%.
almost 80, I think.
Yeah,
I
and
think
like
they have almost.
that's a lot. And like I really think we'll get there, but every single coin in existence in staking is just pretty well straight up impossible. So
Right. There's
if that
also
happens,
there's also something called a gradient point where the top up rewards get less rewards. So after 3 million, uh, there's a function that defines the rewards daily for the top up on the network, right? Because 3,200 nodes means 8 million eGold, and we're way past that. So right now the top up rewards are still growing, but once they reach 3 million, the line goes cotangent with the 3 million. So the rewards, the incentives will not be as high as they are right now. So this is a self-healing mechanism. So if it's too much stake, the incentive will decrease, and if the stake decreases, the incentives will increase. So you're incentivized to stake if there's not enough stake in the network, and if there's a bunch of stake in the network, maybe too much, then the incentives decrease. So the network balances itself out.
yeah. And it's a fluid network. It's built to be that way. I mean, financial inclusion doesn't mean you lock your money up forever either, right? Like, I mean, it's just the way it is. So
Right.
it's just a fluid network, and as you said, it incentivizes people and de-incentivizes kind of in a way at a certain point, or just reaches a plateau, um, which is great.
Right. Next question from Chris Pham. Can you guys tell a story about working with the Elrond team and how that compares with other projects? I can take that if you want. Okay.
Sure, go ahead.
I've worked with various projects. The first project I worked with was Cosmos in 2018, and uh, Elrond, if you compare it with the other projects, is uh, the biggest difference is that it helped the validators grow. You know, the Cosmos project was older. It was like, I think it was launched in 2017 with an ICO of sorts, and they already had a validator set waiting for the releases to come, and it was the first POS, the first strong proof of stake project to be released. So it generated some hype. Elrond didn't have that. They were a team from Romania that was going to disrupt the blockchain space, but nobody knew it at that time, right? And the validators community had to be built from scratch. So the experience of working with the Elrond team is that they helped everybody grow. And by everybody, I mean myself included. You've entered
Us too.
that,
Us too.
yeah,
Exact
everybody.
same thing.
You enter at one point, and then you're given some tools, and you're helped to apply them and work with them every day. And then the tools keep getting better and better. And then with the nobody gets left behind mentality, all the validators. A case comes to mind. I'm not going to say his name here, but there's a guy from UK who I remember was there from the beginning, and he really wanted to run a node, and he started running a node on his Windows computer in the beginning, because in the beginning Windows was also supported.
I started on Windows.
Yeah. And after that, he learned and learned and learned, and he got to running his own node in the mainnet, and that is just a fabulous case of how anybody with enough will find a way to do it. And
They really set a new standard. They really set a new standard, right?
That's right. That's right.
And sent messages, private messages to validators and said, what can we do to help you? And they put a lot of effort and energy and time and resources towards just building this validator community. And for me, in terms of comparing to other projects, I've been working with other projects that are partnered with Elrond, and I see those techniques being used. Injective, for example, injective protocol is one, and I see the same thing. There's a group there, everyone's helping each other, and it's based on after you see what Elrond has done. They just set the bar higher and said, no, we're not going to just pick a random 10 validators and not work with them. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to pick our validators to our partnered validators, but we're going to work with every single person who wants to be a validator at the base level and make sure that people understand it. It's a new industry standard as far as I'm concerned, and it's being used in other chains. So it's great.
That's great. Next question, Martin Doyle. Could the Elrond network be utilized as a general payment network given its scaling capabilities? Decentralized Visa with settlement in 6 seconds sounds promising. Go ahead.
Well, that's the goal, I think. I mean, we've always said, do we have Visa level transactions? Do we have MasterCard level transactions? Do we have internet level transactions? Right, and that's always been the goal. Myer as an app is working its way towards that already. There's a shop down in Spain that accepts it. There's now Payments is accepting it as a payment provider. You can use eGold, and I think over time we're going to see some really cool things built on top especially with ESDT coming live. What's going to happen is we're going to see those sort of things being built. The thing about Elrond is we have Visa level capability. We have MasterCard level capability. Now it's just a matter of who's going to build it. And Myers already is already way ahead of the game. But with ESDT, you might have someone big player come in and say, great, now we can use Elrond to settle. I think I read like JP Morgan they have their own little private chain, and they're settling via blockchain on some of their stuff and trialing it. So there's already people out there doing it, and the need is there. And now that scalability is there, and that new token is the ability to build your own token and build that is coming, I think 2-3 years, maybe even shorter than that, we could see a big scale payments option and people running their stuff through Elrond, even though it's already happening, in my opinion.
Right. Also, as it's been a secret that not a secret anymore. There's a card coming soon. So
Exactly. Exactly.
a payment method will be available. Next question. Adam, I'm not sure if it's a question from Adam Saunders. Why is Elrond still the best kept secret? Well, I think all these big projects that are shield and they are popular, to say it like that, uh, a lot of them are based in the US, and it's really important to have a footstep over there in the US. And it's the next logical step for the Elrond team. You guys have seen the interviews with the Miami mayor, which is pro crypto. He's been in crypto for a while. So um, people can only ignore you for so long, Once you become inevitable, just like Tony Stark in the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Then people will just not be able to ignore you. So the tech is there, the team is there, the vision is there. So the future is really bright for the Elrond team. So
Yeah, I challenge that question in a way too. I don't know if it's the best kept secret out there. I don't think we're a secret anymore. To be fair, the thing that I always appreciated about the Elrond Network is they didn't go full board marketing and hype until they had a product. You get all these other chains, and I won't name any names, but they go out there and they just hype. And how much downtime have those chains have? How many times have they failed? How many times has Elrond? Does anyone take a wild guess? Zero. And you want to know why that is? Is because they spent the time not hyping and marketing, and they spent the time to build something. And that's what's so much more important. And that's why this constant steamball of avalanche, and the numbers are growing and growing and growing, and that's what's going to happen. And I think once we get past ESDT, our DeFi, our MPAD, and all that stuff, you're going to see more marketing, and you're going to see Benjamin out there doing more doing more stuff. Like, he's already been on CNN alongside a Bitcoin talk. He's been on Rooter. Like, he's been out there. So there's we are, in terms of top 20, top 50, maybe, like maybe a best kept secret, quote unquote, but we're by no means not known. And we're only a few days away from that next big massive change that's then going to bring so many more projects to us, and they have no reason not to come to Elrond. The incentives are there, so it's a waiting game, and it's a
that's
good
right.
waiting game. So, I mean,
And with
just
the
be
development
happy.
pace,
Exactly, and be
it's just
happy
crazy.
about it now, and go back to that community question. If we are best kept secret, why aren't you telling everybody about it?
That's right. Good one. Next question. Is Solana in any way superior to Elrond, or is it foolish to compare both projects? Solana is definitely an interesting project because they attack scalability using a different mindset. They don't go to sharding. I've seen some talks with Anatoly, the head guy from Solana, and he just doesn't want the sharding problems to to solve. And I've also talked to Zaki from Cosmos, and discussing about their beginnings with Cosmos, and they said that they had the same mentality. We don't want to have more problems to solve, so we don't do sharding. So um, the fact that sharding is a really tough program to solve doesn't mean it's not solvable. Uh, and the way that Elrond solves it is brilliant. But I think in terms of network, you cannot really compare the two. Maybe just the throughput. Um, Elrond does 5,000 transactions with a shard, and right now we have 3 shards plus the meta chain, right? So 15,000 transactions. But the scalability option is on the table. I think Solana does 50,000 transactions. Uh, but both projects have different mentalities, different ways of solving this blockchain trilemma. You have scalability, you have decentralization, and you have security. And it has been said that you cannot have all three of them. You have to sacrifice one to have the other two. So I think it's really beautiful how Elrond solved this trilemma. We have security, I mean, state of the art security. We have scalability, crazy scalability, and we are on the road to decentralization, right?
Well, we have infinite scalability, right?
Yeah,
So like that's what sharding provides. Adaptive state sharding provides infinite scalability. I don't think there's any chain out there that can actually say that they have infinite scalability,
that's
um,
right.
and can actually stand by that. Whereas I know for a fact that Elrond can, because that's that's
That's it.
that's what was done. So
Yeah,
you can't compare a Solana and a eGold because they're two entirely different strategies. And like I know which side I've picked. I have nothing against Solana, to be honest. Um, but yeah, it's just two different strategies, and it's just not.
right.
So I guess is it foolish to compare apples to oranges? Absolutely.
Well, I on a personal level, I try to not be a maximalist and say um, this is it and there's nothing else. So I think in the end there will be a handful of projects that will make it through, and I think for sure Elrond is one of them, and I
Yeah.
think it's really possible that Solana is one of them as well. They have different approaches, and the market is so huge. I mean,
Yeah.
we have not even dipped our toes in the water of adoption that is
Yeah.
coming. So there is really a need of multiple blockchains talking to each other. So uh,
Yeah, there's room for everybody, and like
there's room for
what
everybody.
what Solana are doing, and what's been happening with them over the past little while is amazing. They're adopting people, and people are getting to understand a bit more about the importance of TPS and the importance of that sort of stuff. And what you're finding is people from Solana are now bleeding into our group a bit more. I see a lot more Solana providers or Solana supporters coming into Elrond more and more. So that's great. Like if that's how you get to Elrond, then great, awesome. Like
Right,
they're not a bad project, right? So
right. Next question. Have you heard more about Miami project? Um, we've heard some, but there's not a lot we can share right now. So we're going to the next question.
yeah, I just say no to that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Does Valid Blocks and Helios have an incoming project that will run in Elrond blockchain?
No, we don't.
Uh, we are working on some projects to, like I said in the beginning, this is one of the targets that we have set. We're trying to get adoption for the blockchain, and with some contacts we have in Spain, talk to some beer retailers. So there's nothing ready on that side yet, but as soon as we have something, I'm sure everybody will know about it.
Yeah, our angle, now that phase three is kind of over and you can kind of see more videos and stuff happening, I think our angle is to create a knowledge base and start doing more education, and actually focusing more on the education side of things. We do have some ideas for some apps and stuff, and I have a React developer that I've been trying out and that sort of stuff, and we're just starting to get to that point. Helios, and just the way my mindset works is one step at a time, build my foundation, our foundation, and then move forward to the next thing. There's a big gap for education out there, and the need for some kind of knowledge base and that sort of stuff. So our focus is going to be around that. We support the Warriors a little bit as well. We're working on getting a merchandising store out there for them, with my web development hat on, and that sort of stuff. And then yeah, I mean, eventually I have some ideas, in the future, potential collateralized lending and borrowing and stuff through Helios and that sort of thing. But as of right now, we're just going to take that next step, towards education, helping the community a bit more, and starting to find developers to onboard. They're tough to find nowadays, and ones that can actually do what we need them to do. So it's and when one is found, everyone tries to jump on them, and you could lose them just as fast as you got them. So it's a bit tough on that side, but look, we'll all get there in the end, I think.
That's right. We are also really focused on education, and what we're trying to do is help people understand why things are the way they are. Uh, and I think this is really the answer. Once people get the beauty of this and understand things, and not just look for the quick fix, quick answer, and really try to invest some time into reading about things. Like, when the MPAD announcement came up, people were starting to ask questions the second, and I mean, the minute they saw the announcement. And I'm sure they didn't even have time to go through the blog post. So it's really important to, when there's an announcement of some sort, like that, it's really important to go through it and try to understand all the facets of that announcement, and try to make sense of it yourself, and only then ask the question. It will help you, and it will help the others as well.
For sure.
Right. Another questions from TJ. What do you think about the public policy hurdles for mass adoption? Countries restricting my app, for example, or regulation. What are the strategies? Well, what I've known from the team is that they're working full speed ahead in all the countries to comply with the regulations. And I know there are different countries with different regulations and different issues, policies, and the Elrond team is really dedicated time to all of these. I know the US has been a really tough market, and I also know a lot of effort is spent there trying to get the Maya app working there and stuff like that. And it's not something that, okay, we'll do sometime in the future. I personally know that the Elrond team is investing a lot of time and money into this. So it's not like we might have a solution this way. No, they're working on all fronts and full speed ahead, the same way we've been used to get from the Elrond team.
And it's a tough egg to crack, right? Because
that's right.
Every single chain out there is having this issue. Even traditional stuff like Revolut or those kind of guys are having the same things, and it comes down to just money laundering, know your customers. There's a lot of countries where people don't even have IDs. So how are you going to give someone an app when KYC is such a huge thing? Like Meyer doesn't have that, right? So like that's the beauty of it, but at the same time, governments and stuff, it's just something that's a pretty tough egg to crack. But like Eddie said, it's being worked on as a priority, and I've all the faith in the world that Elrond will provide that.
Cool. Next one from Taco. What's the story with so many users only owning one eGLD and the whales at the top? Big discrepancies among the top 500k holders. I think there's no story there really. There are some myths about big whales that hold most of the eGLD, and there was a video from some guy that did a review, and the research he did was really terrible. I mean, he was pointing at exchange wallets, Binance wallets, and saying that these are whales. The distribution of eGLD is really good, and if you look at there's an image going around Telegram from one of the admins on Elrond community showing what each of those addresses are. The foundation reserve, the staking smart contracts, which is the biggest one, right? And then the exchanges wallets. The exchanges wallets are not even the exchanges fund, because people, when they deposit funds into an exchange, into a centralized exchange, those funds are automatically moved to some of the hot wallets they use. So when you deposit something on Binance, right, those funds are moved to one of the Binance wallets, and that's where a lot of eGLD accumulate. And that doesn't mean the money is split into just a few big whales' hands. So,
and there's another really important thing here to point out is there was no delegation contract when validators started, and when when I personally, and this is a personal for me personally, is I went around looking for people who wanted to set up validators. I have an Irish partner, we have Mark, friends and family, and we have a lot of people who contributed to our Genesis validators. It's not just one guy or one person. It's we have that spread across a lot of people, and we have scripts that send them their rewards and that sort of thing. But those wallets have a lot in them, and
Right.
but it's not all one person, and a lot of validators did that, and that's just the way it is. So yeah, those wallets might have big numbers, but they're actually probably owned by a lot of people. A lot of validators, I know me personally, and I know almost every single one have at
Also valid
least
blocks.
four, yeah, at least have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we have 15 or 17 different investors, and so people who just bought coins and delegated them outside before a delegation contract existed.
Right.
So you got
This
to
was
keep that in mind
custody.
too.
This was custody staking, right? Where people would give you the money actually, and then they would trust you
Yeah,
to return the rewards. But now with the
exactly.
smart contracts in place, we can do non-custodial staking, which is brilliant.
Exactly.
Okay, Ben's Barcelona. Invite other staking provider or maybe from the team and some from the community. Maybe these Elrond talks are really amazing. Heart. Thank you.
Hard here too. Hard here
Actually, this is strategy that we're gonna have is KYSP. Know your staking provider. So this is the idea actually to have these casual talks with all the other staking providers and also members of the community that want to join. And of course, we're going to have sometime in the future some team members. Um, Everything is on the table. Uh, the idea is to have these open and transparent conversations so that people can really see who are the persons behind each staking provider. So even though the trust is not involved in here because the delegation is done through a non-custodial in a non-custodial way through a smart contract, right? And everybody has full control over their funds. I, as a delegator, would like to know who's handling those funds, right? And what's his exposure to the Elrond blockchain? Is he somebody that just arrived and is trying to figure things out, or I would like to do my own research and I would like to know who are the people behind it. So that's the point of Elrond Talks. And it's not only going to be about validators, it's going to be also about the community members. We have some awesome community members that really invest a lot of time and energy in spreading the word. So we'd like to thank them as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
Elrond Talks is for everybody.
that's right. Janzu, from what you know and your ideas, how do you see Elrond in 5 years? Which are your hopes and scenarios? This is a good
Well,
one.
I'll take that, I guess.
Go for it.
Where do I see Elrond in 5 years, 10 years? I see it everywhere. Um, I mean, I already see it everywhere because it's every day of my life. But I think where Elrond's going is into the hands of the next billion people. And is that going to take 5 years? Is it going to take 2 years? Is it going to take 3 years, 10 years? I don't know, but I know it's going to happen. And I know with the people that are involved in Elrond and the vision and all of us community members and out there, I know that Elrond eventually is going to be a household name, and not just because of Lord of the Rings. People are going to know of Elrond because they use it in their everyday lives, and I truly believe that that's going to happen. One step at a time. I Adoption is already happening. Like look how it's going now. So yeah, that's where I see it. I'm sure Eddie has something to add to that. It's a really good question, by the way. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I have just recently thought about this question, and I thought about what I was thinking in the beginning and what I was thinking in the first few weeks, few months, and then how the things and the mentality has changed because I I had a vision of what Elrond could be, and then Elrond went all that way, and then it blew my mind. It went way beyond that. So once we got to that point, well, I was like, wow, we are here already. So um, I was trying to adjust my expectations, but then again, Elrond did it again and went even beyond that. So it's really difficult to define and say where will Elrond be. I with, with the capabilities of on the tech side, right? It's like a highway for blockchain. The transactions, the scalability that Elrond offers is really amazing, and I think it will bring a lot of projects to build on Elrond. And with the ESDT, that is like the ERC20 on steroids. Like the cool part from the Elrond team is that um, they were able to think out of the box, right? No limitations. The Ethereum people, right? They have this platform and the ERC20 and the blockchain, and when they try to um, improve it, I would like to quote Jose again on this one. He said it's like putting uh, uh, trying to make a rocket out of a car, right? What you can do is try to attach a new engine, but it's still going to be a car. So the fact that Elrond was built with out of the box mentality, not bound by the limitations of the previous iterations of blockchain, gave it a huge advantage. So the ERC token, the ESDT tokens are going to be transmittable at protocol level. That means there's no smart contract call when you transfer an ESDT token from one wallet to another. And this is something mind blowing when you look at the panorama of blockchain today. So where is Elrond going to be in 5 years? I have no idea. But given the exponential growth it's had so far, I think it's only fair to say to the moon, you know? I don't know if Kevin, you have anything to add here? To
Well,
the moon and back.
why are we shooting for the moon when Elon's going to Mars?
To Mars and
Yeah,
beyond.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, there's a question: when is Max going to be claimable? I think I'm going to quote Sever on that, and I'm going to say soon. TM trademark. Just follow the channels, and you'll get that information. Probably very soon, you'll get it. Is there any additional information that can be provided for an on-ramp for Americans with Maya to buy through the app? I have so much interest from friends and family, but they want a simple process. I have a friend in the US that has bought using Voyager, I think, and they're not integrated with Maya, but it's an option if there's interest. But like I said before, I know for a fact that the Elrond team is working full on for US integration, and it's if it's not there yet, it's not pending because of the Elrond team. It's pending because of the US side. So
There's Binance US too. You can buy from there and then transfer it in. I mean, there's ways around it, but yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Next question is from Tudor. What makes Elrond step out of the blockchain crowd area? Sorry. What makes Elrond step out of blockchain crowd area? There are a few projects trying to do that with what Elrond does. Okay, got it. So why does Elrond stand out in comparison with the other projects that are trying to do what Elrond does? I think the great thing about Elrond is that it has the team and it has the vision. It's not just the tech. We see. I'm not going to name these projects, but I do have a project very clear in mind where the tech is good, but there's no vision behind it, and there's no leader. There's no path set for them. So the fact that the Elrond founders were able to put together a team like they did is just mind blowing. It's amazing. I mean, I've talked to these guys, right? The developers, the core developers at Elrond, and staying in the same offices with them for a whole day and discussing with them, the humility with which they reply to your questions and they try to help it's mind blowing. And these guys are gods amongst blockchain developers, right? And they take the time to sit down with you and discuss and explain. And it's like their baby, right? The Elrond project. And this having a team like this combined with the vision and leadership from Benny is just a stellar combination. And I think it's a very rare thing to find in the blockchain space. The team with the tech and the vision. So
And community is my answer always. I love the community, and that's what makes it stand out. The like there is no real bad blood out there. You don't see too much negativity, and it's always people helping, and and like with obviously everything you said as well. Like these guys could be building rockets, and they're choosing to do something that's never been done before from scratch, and that's amazing. And behind all that is the community, and it's just an incredible space to be in.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, there's another one from Taco. It's not a question. Or is it a question? Taco says, I'm pretty confident in Elrond, but with the powerhouse Elrond has, this market cap is hilariously not funny. So I'm thinking the price could be manipulated. I'm not sure I get that question.
Yeah, I don't think we really want to touch on price. So like basically what Taco's saying is the current market cap doesn't reflect the actual product. Um,
I could agree with that.
and yeah, I mean, yeah, in principle, yeah, obviously I agree as well. I just don't like touching on that. You got to remember, you have to remember we've done what in a year 100 200x maybe, right? So where we
That's right.
came from to where we are now, we've already had insane growth, and there's only so much money going around in the alternative cap market, right? And that money bounces from project to project, and some of it sticks. And what you can actually see with Elrond, if you look at zoom out, it just does this. It goes up and then it gives us a nice new floor, a nice new low, and it just keeps going and sustainably grows. And we're gonna get there. And yeah, it's definitely not reflective of where it should be. Um, I agree with that, but we're also growing sustainably. We do grow a bit higher, and then we find a nice new floor, and that's what the guys want. If you actually look at the stock to flow model and their economics model, it's built for this reason, so that we grow sustainably and don't have big wild price swings. Like do you really want a coin that's going to go, 500-600x or 600% and then dip right back down 70%, a few days later? I don't want that. So I think we'll get there, and every little bit helps, and it's just a matter of time.
That's right.
And just remember where we were a year ago to where we are now. We're one of the fastest growing projects. I think of 2000. I think we're one of the top projects actually in terms of percentages, of where we were and where we are now. So we are growing very, very quickly. So
A big thing I would like to focus here on is when in doubt, zoom out. I mean, if
yeah,
you zoom out, you take a step back and you see the whole picture and you see where Elrond has been and the path that it led Elrond to where it is right now is just unbelievable. And when you zoom out, these little twitches of, highs, lows, they even out and you see the constant flow growth,
yeah,
and that's tremendous. And I'm not talking about price, I'm talking about adoption, about number of wallets and people in the communities and everything,
yeah,
it's just amazing. And
yeah.
the
And we're go-
100
and
days
we're gonna get
hyper
there.
growth were a
Yeah,
killer,
yeah.
and we're getting there, like you said.
And we are gonna get there. Like it's an inevitability, and we're doing it the right way. So, and who knows what the future holds, but I definitely know that it will reflect properly. So just hold the line, be patient, and hold on for dear life.
Yeah, that's right. We're coming up on over 1 hour, hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes. And are there any questions left? There's one from Pseudolog. what are you guys doing with the fees you're earning from the delegators? Are you selling once a while to pay salaries, or are you holding for future, or how are you managing this? I think every staking provider has his own way of dealing with this, but if you know uh, what Elrond has in store, um, I don't think you really want
Yeah.
to sell your EGLD. Of course, you have to sustain the servers and the salaries, and these are not cheap, and mm, you want to be able to reinvest. Uh, so there's a striking a balance in there. So, but I think this is a personal decision for each staking provider. I don't think there's a answer that can be validly universally valid. So
Yeah, I can be honest about like what we do. So like we're running about 95 euros to 100 euros per node, and then with backups, that's somewhere in the general area of 80 to 100 nodes. I think we have 110 or something with observers running. So right there, that's a pretty big expense. So we look to we actually have diversifications too. We're liquidity providers for a few other chains. We're a validator for Injective. So we have income from other places. Our basic strategy is to hold as much eGold as possible for as long as possible. We're not staking any of our extra eGold anymore to allow room for others. We just leave that out. In general. And yeah, we do at times have to sell a little bit, but we're not selling. We're not putting up big sell walls. We're not going. And to anyone out there who thinks that we're there with enough coins to put a sell wall to suppress the price, I challenge you to maybe do a little bit of math and find out how many coins we're actually making, because we're not making that much. We can't suppress the price at all. And if we do sell, we sell in times of high volume. When there's a lot of volume and it's going up at a parabolic rate, we look at the we look at what's in the buy orders, and we just help the buy orders fill. We don't go looking for a greedy higher price. We actually sell into the buy orders, helping the price increase. So we have no reason to suppress at all, because I think that's something that's out there at the moment, that I've read. And so I just wanted to be very clear that we or no other staking provider is trying to suppress the price. And if they do sell, they're doing so in volume spikes, and they're probably selling into the buy order books and giving people with lower bids a chance to buy their coin. Because I know that's what we're doing. So
fair
that's
enough. Yeah.
that's the answer. And we don't really sell eGold at all anyways. We sell a very small amount of it, to cover just maybe servers and use some of our other liquidity pools as well. So it
That's
is what
good.
it is. We're a business at the end of the day, and in order to provide infrastructure for you, and to help the ecosystem grow, I mean, we have to pay it. We have the odd OTC, over the counter. If I personally have extra funds, I'll buy the eGold off of Helios, in euros. So that doesn't even hit the exchanges. Michael does the same. Mark will do the same. So we're trying our best not to have that hit the exchanges.
That's good. I mean, even if a part of the eagle hits the exchange, the liquidity is also important. So mm,
Hmm.
it's all good.
Yeah.
I think we can close with Tudor's questions, right? We're
Yep.
Tudor is asking, can you explain the phase four auction consensus on the node? Um, Stage four is going to be a
Well, there
mind-blowing
is
stage.
it, but there is no information on phase
Yeah,
four released yet, so we
but
don't know. We
what we
we,
do
we
know is going to be mind-blowing. we
exactly.
we
That's all we know.
we are expecting Elrond to keep delivering the way that they have in the past, and there will be a presentation in its due time, and community, I'm sure, will have a way possibility to have their say in this. So it's really not an issue we're focusing on right now, but something big is in store for us. So just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, phase four is coming, but it's going to be a little while, and we have no clue. Well, we're all talking about what it could be, and that feedback's being uh, taken on board. But in terms of what exactly Phase 4 is, we just know it's going to change the game, and it is. So we just got to wait.
That's great. Okay, maybe some closing comments from you, Kevin.
Yeah, sure. I just want to say thank you, Eddie, for setting this up and getting the first installment of Elrond Talks. I want to say thank you to every single person who's been out there watching. Normally, I scroll through and thank every single person, but I don't have the access to do that. So I just wanted to thank everyone who's there. Welcome everybody. I hope you come and see more Elrond Talks. And yeah, I really look forward to the future with every single one of you.
Thanks, Kevin. It's been great having you with us. From our side, I would like to say thanks everybody that's been watching for your patience with us. And this is just the first episode. We are not live YouTubers, live professional YouTubers. We're just some guys that are validators for the Elrond Network, and we're doing our best to support the communities and support the Elrond project. So I think this format will move forward, and you will see some new episodes with different staking providers. We will provide this template to them in order to help with the streaming and everything. So thank you again for being here with us. And if you have any questions, you can find us at in our Telegram channels, Valid Blocks and Helios Staking. And I think that's it. Thank you, guys. Thanks for being here with us, and have a great evening.